Hey brothers and sisters, welcome back to the Behavior Revolution Scriptures. I'm Mark and we're testing out a new green screen here today and a new recording sort of system, so stuck with this big black knob in my face. Sorry about that. Just what you want, isn't it? Big black knob in your face. So we're going to talk about teachers today. I want to talk about teachers. Those who think they're teachers. Pretty amazing article came up today. Yahusha has some things to say about the teachers. Let's have a look at it. What is a teacher? What does it even mean? Here, in the Hebrew understanding, what does a teacher mean in the Hebrew? Lutz, properly, to make mouths at, to scoff, hence from an effort to pronounce a foreign language, to interpret. Teacher is an interpreter, or generally an interceder, ambassador, have in derision, interpreter, make a mocker, scorner, teacher, or something received, mental instruction, whether on the part of the teacher or the hearer, also in an active and sinister sense, inveiglement, doctrine, learning, fair speech. Another one here, an archer, also teacher or teaching, also the early rain. Unused meaning to dispatch as a deputy, a messenger, specifically of God, an angel, also a prophet, priest, or teacher, ambassador, angel, king, messenger. I don't think there's much confusion if we use the word today in 21st century planet Earth what a teacher is. Everybody knows what a teacher is, don't they? Let's look at what the scripture says about a teacher. In James chapter 3, not many of you should become instructors or teachers. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, knowing that we shall receive greater judgment. For we all stumble in many things. But if anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect or mature man, able to bridle the entire body. Now that's one of the main scriptures that speak about being a teacher, and what in a nutshell is Yahusha saying? Not many of you should become a teacher. Pretty high standard there. And you'll receive greater judgment, because if people are going to be hanging on every word you say and looking at your life through, a microscope and looking at the way you behave, in other words, you ain't up to standard, most of you, so you shouldn't become teachers. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect, mature man, able to bridle the entire body. In other words, until you become perfected and mature, don't even attempt to become a teacher. I mean, why would you want to be a teacher anyway? Just be what you should. Just hear and do. Why do you need a title anyway? What's that about? That sounds a bit stinketh of the religion, doesn't it? Take the time to read the 3 chapters of Titus. I've already done that and I found it amazing. Yes? Make sure you read the 3 chapters of Titus, because there are multiple instructions on how your believing family and the body of Yahusha should be behaving towards each other. So if you need to stop it now and read it, read the 3 chapters of Titus. So read that, because there are multiple instructions on how your believing family and the body of Yahusha should be behaving towards each other. And those on the outside of Yahusha, how you should be behaving in the world as well. And it's not the same way. You don't behave the same way to the believers as you do out in the world. You've got to be so careful. I'm afraid if a believer does not know and has conquered these behaviors, they will naturally disqualify themselves from any gifts. If a believer does not know and hasn't conquered, these behaviors, they'll be disqualified from any gifts, fruits, or power by their own behavior. So whose behavior disqualifies you? Yourself. And in James 3, it tells us a lot. Any teacher of Yahusha must be able to bridle the whole body. See up here? To bridle. What does bridle mean? Sounds like something you put in a horse's mouth, doesn't it? A bridle, in order to control it. Yeah? So let's have a look. What does bridle mean in Hebrew? To curb, a bit. So it is what you put in a horse's mouth. A bit, a bridle. Unused root mean to curb or halter. By implication, the jaw, the bridle. I think it means to control. That's how you control the animal. Curb them, maneuver them, control them so they don't go out and get out of hand. So unless you can, and that's one of the gifts, isn't it? Self-control. How many people are sprouting out the 9 fruits of the gifts in their speech and in their saying this and saying that? Nobody wants to concentrate on the poor number 9th fruit, do they? Self-control. In other words, we need to be able to bridle our tongue and body so that our words are of the Torah. We need to be in line with Yahusha's instructions. We need to bridle our tongue and our body. Behave the right way. And this is the point. I was going to record this yesterday based on other articles that have been leading up to this one, but this is the summation, so this is the best article to record. There's been conversations on Facebook going down, which has led to this article today. It's about this doctrine here. There is a doctrine today. Another stinking little doctrine. There's a doctrine today that says as soon as you are immersed, pay attention, they say that as soon as you are immersed, you have power to preach the good news. Teachers of today send out innocent believers with this understanding. And when they fall on their face, they come back to the teacher all disappointed. They are then told they are wrong and need to do the teaching courses. These believers are then trapped into a carpetbagger's net and become slaves to their teacher. The believer then never receives their freedom to be taught by the Spirit of Yahusha through His Word personally, because there's a false teacher in the doorway. There is a false teacher in the doorway, stopping their entry into the reign of Yahusha. Have you experienced this before? How many teachers, preachers, pastors, rabbis, religious carpetbaggers are sending their sheep out into the world, wearing things on their t-shirts, sticking things on their bumpers, handing out flyers. You've been immersed now. You must enroll in our course and then do this and do that and become this for Yahusha, become this for your Creator, and go out and convert the world. And how do people get treated? Oh, that's all part of it. We're supposed to be freaks and ridiculous and ridiculed. That's what the early church was. That's what's happening to us too. How do you imagine sending your children into that? Sheep among wolves, lambs to the slaughter. Imagine doing that. That's how religious, and this is what's in the Gnatha movement today, in the Messianic movement. And they all think they're the bride. That's the sad thing about it. Behaving this way. Yahusha hates this behavior, because what does he want? He wants, where is it written? He wants every believer to have to receive the freedom to be taught by the Spirit of Yahusha through His Word personally. Personally, you will need no man to teach you, the Scripture says. I will teach you through my Spirit, through the Word. Doesn't mean you can't be. That doesn't mean He's not going to train you and flog you and discipline you and goad you and rebuke you. But that's the experience that is available to every single human being. And who is standing in the doorway? Who's standing in the doorway? Religious carpetbaggers, stopping people from entering into the reign of Yahusha. In Titus 1:13, you should know what this says because you've already read the first 3 chapters, only 3 chapters of Titus. So you should know what we're speaking about here. This witness is true. Therefore, rebuke them sharply in order for them to be sound in the belief, not paying attention to the Yahudi fables. That's the religious folk, the Pharisees, teachers, preachers, all those people. Don't pay attention to the Yahudi fables and the commands of men who turn from the truth. What do men do? Turn from the truth. Indeed, all things are clean to the clean, but those who are defiled and unbelieving, no thing is clean. But both their mind and conscience are defiled. They profess to know Yahuwah, but in their works, through their behavior, They deny him, being abominable and disobedient and unfit for any good work. Got that? There are many coming from Christianity and Judaism into the 𝗪𝗓𝗓 movement. There are many coming from all the different religious movements, mainly the Christians and the Jews, coming into the 𝗪𝗓𝗓 movement, who have failed in their previous religious endeavours. The word's out that the 𝗪𝗓𝗓 movement is open slather to gain religious success and easy money, i.e. no real laws or authority, and plenty of money to be made. We have religious carpetbaggers swooping in for the spoils, deceiving converts, enslaving them in irons of false doctrines. Many are setting themselves up as teachers, but have no spiritual credentials. What are the credentials? You can read about it in Titus 1, 2 and 3. It's all written there. A teacher must be a bridled person with kindness and love and understanding. So now we know what a bridled person looks like. Someone who behaves themselves a certain way. What is that way? Torah, the scripture, as Yahusha would behave. Not just the words on the page, but they're reading abstractly, discerning the scriptures for themselves and only themselves, because they're having a personal relationship with Yahusha, and that's all that matters. There are people on there saying, oh, should we be drinking? Should we be smoking? Should we be doing this and doing that? Should we be, roller skating and all this BS that they go on about? It's between you and Yahusha. So shut your face and work it out with him. You don't need teachers to tell you all this stuff. The problem is most of these people aren't immersed in the name, one and only name of Yahusha. And even if they are, they're holding on to religious teachers who are standing in the doorway. Because, if you're an average Joe Blow like you or I, we don't think we're capable enough to hear Yahusha's voice. We think we've been so wicked and evil, which we have, that he couldn't possibly just lead us. And these people look so like they've got it together and they've got the words to say and they can speak and all this sort of stuff. They've got it together, we don't. I've got people emailing and messaging me saying that about me, and I'm saying to them, look, I'm just a normal dickhead from Australia who hasn't got anything together. I ain't no teacher. I'm not a bridled person. I'm being trained, but I'm not nowhere near it. And I would never say that I'm a teacher. I'm just really sharing everything that Yahusha's saying to me because I can hear his voice just like you can. So keep going, hearing his voice. And if you like writing about what you hear, it's great. It's uplifting for the rest of us. Don't stop making your videos. Don't stop doing your blogs. Don't stop writing. Just you don't have to be a teacher to do all that madness. Keep doing what Yahusha tells you to do. It's between you and him. This is a personal, private walk. And it really is. Doesn't matter if you're married, single, children, no children, whether they're believers or not. Even if everybody in your family is a believer, this is still your personal walk with you and Yahusha. It's got to be personal. And who's standing in the way trying to balk you all the time? Say things using sweet, lovely language, but underneath, it's wicked, dead men's bones, whitewashed words, So that's what the teachers are doing. Why would you want to be called? Why would you want to be a teacher? Why would you want to have a position anyway? Unless there's something in it for you. So why would you want that? If and I've said this before, if Yahusha calls a handful of people around that want to know what you want to know what you've got and want to know about Yahusha, and you meet house to house, and if no one has a clue what they're talking about, open the scriptures and you can talk about it. And if you have an idea about what the scripture is, I guess you're the leader for the time being, aren't you? But you don't have to be a leader. Everybody's equal. But you're the one who's got stuff to say because you've got the experience. And then they might disperse and go on their merry way, and you're back to normal person that you are. There's no such thing as positions in Yahusha's economy, in Yahusha's reign. We're all equal. We just all use our gifts to help one another and uplift the body. And a large majority of it right now is online. Because of the way the world is. The world's become very close through the internet, and it's wonderful to be able to connect with one another. So that is the article that was put up about teachers. And have you come into that, brothers and sisters? Have you fallen prey to these wicked carpetbaggers? Imagine telling people to go out there and knocking on people's doors and telling them they shouldn't be doing Halloween, Christmas, Easter, all this sort of stuff. Imagine that. Telling people to stop doing something that's thousands and thousands of years old, the festivals. You're just setting yourself up for ridicule. And then they cry persecution. I've been persecuted. Everybody hates me. I wonder why. Because you're a freak. And you're promoting it. Shut your mouth. Have your belief to yourself. Train. You got to be trained to produce the right fruit, to produce the right behavior. And sure, people are on there saying that no, when the disciples got the Spirit, they just went straight out and started saying it. Yeah, that was the day of Pentecost. And how many years had they been walking with Yahusha? About 3.5. They had 3.5 intense, very intense, not physical tense, but actual intense, full-on training with Yahusha day in and day out. Eating with him, sleeping with him, walking with him, talking with him all day, every day. Imagine the training they went through. Imagine the turmoil they went through, fighting themselves, So of course when the Spirit hit on the day of Pentecost, they were ready to go. But Paul didn't. Paul was blind for years, or however long it was. He had to be trained by Cornelius, I think it was, for years. He didn't just go straight out there and, he was broken because he'd been a murderer. He was actually killing the people that Yahusha was using. So what would he have felt? So don't go saying that, the minute you get immersed in Yahusha, you're there. Oh, we're all ready to go and we're waiting for Yahusha to come back. No. Yahusha did his part. He died. He shed his blood to redeem us, to deliver us. That's got nothing to do with us. That's what he did. You can't claim that. This is a marriage relationship. He's approached us. Yes, he loved us while we were still yet sinners and wicked and evil. Yeah, he did that. He did it. Not you. He did it. So what are you going to do about it? The husband's proved himself. The wife has to prove herself. Not to work for her salvation. No, you don't work for... But you've got to prove yourself. Like any marriage, isn't it? You can't just say, I love you. You've got to prove it. So Yahusha wants a bride that will prove it. So he gives us a small down payment of his Spirit, his ruach, when we come out of the water. And how powerful is that down payment? What do we go through? What training and judgment do we go through to exercise that belief, to behave it, to bring forth this transformation that's going to culminate and climax at his return? But that's what we have to come through and prove. He gives us the power to do it, but are we doing it? Are we overcoming? Are we receiving, running the race to get the credentials? Bridling our tongue, bridling our behavior, because that's what's got to happen. He's done his bit. You can't just come out of the water and go, oh, well, he's done his bit. I'm waiting for him to come back. I'm delivered. I'm the bride. No. Technically, you are the bride when you come out of the water, but half of them are wise and half of them are foolish. Which one are you going to be? The foolish one doesn't make it to the wedding feast. You get one life and one choice. Don't be looking at this second resurrection BS that people are promoting. It's not on. You got one life, one chance. You either make the first resurrection or you get resurrected the second time and kicked out, destroyed. There's only one verdict at the second resurrection. It's guilty. We're not going to go into that. The point is, when you come out of the water, you've got a choice to make. Are you going to be wise or foolish? If you're going to be wise, you've got to run this race. You've got to bring forth the credentials. And if Yahusha chooses to use your mouth to teach someone else, that's great. You don't start calling yourself something. Preacher, teacher, pastor. You don't do all that rubbish. I'm a prophet. Why? Because you can hear his voice. Whoop-de-doo. We can all hear a donkey heard his voice. So I hope you're understanding what we're saying here, brothers and sisters. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Let's read this little bit here. Because there's a revelation. The difference is in revelation. Yahusha says constantly, he that overcomes will receive this and will receive that. In Revelation it says, he that overcomes will receive this. Run your race and you'll win your prize, your crown, your white stone, all these things that you can win and gain. The overcomer will receive this and that. When we overcome this world, the gifts start to appear with power. When we overcome this world, you don't start getting gifts and power upon your immersion. Yes, you get the down payment, an initial portion, which I guess you could call power. It is power, it is light, it is an amazing, powerful force within us. It's his spirit, it's his essence that comes within us. So yes, it is a power, but not like what they're saying. This power is for you and you alone, to change you. Think of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Think that power is in there only to change you, no one else. If you're called to affect someone else after you've been matured, that's a different story. And then he will start working with them. You don't affect it. You don't work with you. That's them. Yahusha does it himself. That down payment is for you. And no, this is not a selfish thing, because through your transformation, other people will be affected. But you've got to work on yourself first, just like the disciples, the emissaries did. They worked on themselves. They followed him around for 3.5 years and saw the amazing teaching. When we overcome this world, the gifts start to appear with power. The emissaries always said, I didn't do this. It was the power of Yahusha's words that did the work. They were amazed too. They were shocked. People thought it was them. No, they knew it was Yahusha, but they were still shocked. I mean, wouldn't you be? They knew it wasn't them. It was the power within them. But what did they have to go through first to maintain, to get that? When the bride of Yahusha starts to realize that she needs to overcome this world with the words of Yahusha. And how do you do that? By changing her behavior. Changing her behavior in every way. By cleansing herself from this world's behavior and its ways. That's what's got to happen. Then and only then will Yahusha trust us, and we will see his power emanating from human temples again. Remember, all the wheat grows to the same height, and the harvest is not quite ripe yet. So we don't have to worry, compare, judge one another. No, because all the wheat, he's in control of the wheat. He's in control of the whole harvest, actually, wheat and tares. He knows who he's going to pull out and burn. He knows who is growing. And it might look like everybody's in all different levels, but the wheat will get to the same height. So, have you ever thought of it like this though? Then and only then, only after you've overcome the world, prove to Yahusha that you are his and only his, and are willing to behave, surrender, be what he wants you to be, only then will he trust you. Have you ever thought of it like that? Can Yahusha trust you with what he wants to do, with what he wants to give you, with the gifts, the power that he wants to come through? Can he trust you with it though? Or do you just fly off the handle all the time, get emotional all the time? Do people have to walk on eggshells around you because they're afraid of how you react? Can Yahusha trust you to see the power emanating? So, I think that was it. This was an interesting one. Jerry, good old Jerry. He's a piece of work, isn't he? I've spoken to you before, and I find your mindset modes inflexible and pleasant. For a start, your mindset is full of mixture of the 𝗪𝗏. The word baptized come from all that. All emissaries, here we go. All emissaries were immersed firstly in the name of Yahusha, who is the Messiah. The word Yahusha means may his name be blotted out. This is why we use the real name of Messiah, Yahusha. You have the mixture of truth and lies in your life. This is why I don't want to discuss set-apart things with you anymore, because you disagree. Yes, it certainly does. Acts 12 shows us the process we must go through to clean the world out of us. Acts 12 shows us the process we must go through to clean out the world from us. This process will start upon receiving the set-apart spirit after our immersion. This process will start upon receiving the set-apart spirit after our immersion. Yahusha within us will teach us himself. Your teaching, Jerry, is the opposite. Yahusha prepares us to receive his power first. Yahusha prepares us to receive his power first. What did we go through learning all about the tabernacle? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. What did they have to go through? What patterns? What procedures? Very careful, doing this, because otherwise, It's like dealing with an atomic bomb. The radioactivity, you got to be so gentle. You know, what happened to a few people who just stumbled into the tabernacle, struck dead? The ark was about to fall off the cart. Someone reached out and touched it, struck dead. Radioactivity, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual, higher dimensional sense. This set apartness, this perfection, this light, you know, they had to be very careful how they handled and how much exposure they had to Yahusha's presence. So he prepares us. Yahusha prepares us to receive his power. How does he prepare us? Cleanses us. Cleanses us first spiritually, like with his blood, and then he puts power in us so that we are cleansed practically, physically in this realm, so that we're not filthy whorebags anymore and we don't behave like that. So he prepares us to receive his power first, and we must find his trust through our behavior to the Torah instructions given in our daily living. Once we reach the standard of behavior that satisfies Yahusha, satisfies who? Your teacher? Your husband, your wife? Who has to be satisfied with your behavior? Who's the only person who sees you and you can't pull a Mickey on? You can't fool him. He knows exactly who you are behind closed doors. He knows how you think, how you feel, how you behave when no one's looking. He knows you. So who have you got to satisfy? Once we reach the standard of behavior that satisfies Yahusha, he will give us exploits to complete. Not of ourselves. We don't suddenly decide, I feel like I'm a prophet, so I might start teaching. I feel like I'm a teacher, I might start making video. No. Generally, the things that Yahusha gets you to do are so bizarre and come way out left field, and you don't even want to do them in yourself. That's how you know it's Yahusha generally, because you have to get up, you have to exert, you have to stretch yourself, be stretched, you have to get out of your comfort zone. It's not something that comes naturally generally. The gifts might, but the doing it is not. That's how you know it's Yahusha, because it's pain often. You've got to grow and learn through the process. So he prepares us to receive his power. Once we reach the standard of behaving that satisfies Yahusha, he will give us exploits to complete. We then receive either his favor or his judgment on our application. He'll give us things to do, and we receive favor or judgment upon our application. This is how the process starts before any power or gifts are bestowed upon a believer. You need to know this, particularly if you've just come into this walk, particularly if you're just hearing about Yahusha and want to be immersed. You need to be aware, because the bloody carpetbaggers won't tell you. They'll sell you books though. You need to know what process you're going to go through. This is how the process starts before any power or gifts are bestowed upon a believer. We are not seeing much power displayed in believers today, are we? Don't see any of that sort of power happening much, because this teaching is not agreed with by those religious carpetbaggers who stand in the door stopping those who want to enter. There are those, though, who are pushing through to become the bride and enter this process. You, Jerry, just believe you can have his power immediately without proving that you can be trusted. Your thinking is ridiculous, walking around thinking you are part of the reign of the wrong Messiah. There's no liberty or respect in this baby at all. Okay? So, have you been caught up in this mindset, thinking that you receive everything you need upon your immersion? No. Can he trust you? Look at what you've been through since you've been immersed. You know, you might have dug your heels in years ago and haven't changed or grown or matured for the last few years. Can you be trusted? Are you ready to be transformed in the twinkling of an eye? Because you've got to be mature. Just another way of being perfected. You know, he doesn't just take someone who's filthy, dirty whorebag and just transform them into perfection. No, they have to be proving themselves and being overcoming and, you know, being trained by him until that process happens, you know, and then they're ready to be transformed. They prove themselves as the bride. He's only transforming his bride. And the whole dimensional sphere of this world universe, sun, moon, stars, all of it is going to be destroyed, frackled up, because when his dimension, his reign of perfection comes into this, when the light comes into the darkness, what happens to the darkness? It just disappears. That's what's happening to this whole realm. How you could think anybody is going to survive this means you are cuckoo. Because it's not going to be fire from the sun. It's not going to be any of that. The surface isn't going to be scorched. The whole dimension will be frackled up, and a new, not a renewed, a new Shamayim, a new earth. New, behold, I do a new thing. Revelation 21 says that. Yeah? I do a new thing. Look it up in the Hebrew. It's not renewed, it's new. New. It's new. So, just like he's doing in us, the same power that's going to do that is the same power that's doing the new thing in you. Are you feeling like new? Something new is happening to you. New to you and you to new. All right? So keep going, brothers and sisters. You need to know that this is the misery and the torment. And that's not even discussing what evil spirits are doing. They're just hammering you all the time, waiting for you to fall and listen to them and stumble and fall over and woe is me, I can't do this, all that. So you're getting that attack as well. And you're getting goaded, flogged, chastised, disciplined by Yahusha as well. So it doesn't sound fun, does it? Because it's not. You're being perfected for the next reign. So stuff what you got to go through in this reign, in this life, because this life is just this small. You're being prepared for the next one. And the next one is eternal. The next one goes forever and ever and ever. So I just wanted to share those articles. I'm not quite ready to go into the book of Ruth yet, and I wanted to test out this green screen and share these articles with you and read them out to you and